Brilliant. Hello, Sarah. How are you?
Okay, I'm really well, thanks. How are you?
Good. I'm brilliant. So this is what is this? This is an interview with Sarah Griffith of Feel Better Families, based in Harpenden. My name's Kate Cherry. I'm an independent consultant and brand ambassador with Arbonne. We are a vegan, plant-based skincare, nutrition, and body care company. And the reason I'm here with Sarah today is Sarah's actually a member of a networking group I run, and as I've got to know Sarah and her business, I love seeing alignment between things I do and things I believe, and then other businesses. And I think it's really great to hear a bit more about those other businesses and just have a bit of a discussion about certain topics. So today we're going, because the nature of Sarah's business, we're going to be talking about habits and eating habits, but also well, actually, no, it all centers around habits. I'm not going to complicate the thing. But this comes at a time where we've all been in various lockdowns, wherever you're watching this in the world. And personally, I travelled recently and ate completely poorly last week. I was on mainly yellow foods and alcohol. And so I decided when I came back that, okay, Monday, I'm starting my Arbonne 30 Days to Healthy Living and Beyond, which is a reset. You're cutting out things that don't serve you and that can cause inflammation in your body, so that you're allowing your body to sort of, it's a bit like turning your computer on and off, so you can get back on track. And we call it and beyond because it's about picking up habits. When you're doing something for that long, you're going to pick up habits or lose habits that aren't serving you, so it's a great tool to have. So I do it a couple of times a year. And so where Sarah comes in here is because Sarah's key business is helping people with their children with fussy eaters, and I love that. And we were also discussing recently a program about processed food, and obviously in our plan you very deliberately avoid processed food because we know that that's not optimal for health. So Sarah, I'll just pass it straight over to you and say, tell us a little bit more about your business and what it is you do and how you help people.
Of course. Yeah, so like you said, I work with parents to help them with their children's eating, and particularly if they have a fussy eater that they're concerned about. I work one-to-one. I'm a health coach and a trained children's eating specialist. And I'm actually starting a group program as well. It's going to start in September, the next round of that. We tend to work through a fixed methodology, I think, and one part of what I do with parents, because there's some good evidence actually about the techniques that can help with fussy eating, but also obviously very much responsive as well to that particular family's needs, that's children's needs, those what that parent wants to achieve. So yeah, there's it's one of the things actually I feel really passionately about, this idea that there's nothing you can do about fussy eating, that's just a thing and you have to wait for your kids to grow out. So isn't true. And I say that till I'm blue in the face, because that's just not the message that's out there. So yes, it's I mean, for me it's really rewarding work actually, and I hope that parents hear that it is possible and that they can do things to change it, because you can see really dramatic results actually.
Absolutely. And you don't, I remember obviously the advantage of seeing you every month and networking with you is that I understand more and more as we develop our business relationship, so to speak. And I know that it's not that people could construe that you work directly with the children. It's not. You're working with the parents to help with the children, aren't you? Because you hear so often, oh, they're 2 or 3 or 4. I'm gonna, just it's fine. They'll grow out of it, or they'll eat their greens eventually, or they'll stop snacking every 2 minutes eventually, or whatever it
Yeah.
is. Is that right?
Yeah, that's quite right, exactly. And I think that obviously you can see a specialist to work with your children, maybe a speech language therapist or an occupational therapist, if you want direct work done with your children. But then at the end of the day, you're the one there with them, giving them their meals every day and working out how to manage their behaviors around food and any challenges they've had. So I think even if you do go down the route of wanting help directly for your child, I think it's still really supportive to get something extra for you too, to help you, I suppose, really help your child to be as resilient as they can when it comes to their eating, and help them to develop a sort of healthy relationship with food and eat that balance and variety that you want to see them eating. Yeah,
I love
so
that. That's so true. because when you fast forward and get to my stage in life, doing so I'm not and we generally in my business, we're not fans of the word diet or restriction or calorie counting or weighing in and things like that. You should be able to eat balanced. And the reason we have a 30 days is because sometimes you just need that reset, and there could be something that's triggering something in you, whether it's sluggishness or sleep or a gut challenge, that if you once you clear all that out, your body is perfectly capable of functioning normally. But then generally having balance, and that should be what you need, right? But the reason we talk about habits is because some of this stuff is ingrained in us from a very young age, isn't it? In terms of the types of things we have, the types of things we drink, and so how much do you think those habits in childhood then affect later life, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think, well, I think it'd be strange if they didn't. And I think people can get to a point in their adult lives where they think, no, I don't want to be like this anymore, and I want to change that learned behavior that I've got to up until this point. But it can be very hard. Obviously, the longer you leave it, the trickier it gets, because the more ingrained those behaviors are. And actually eating is very much a learned behavior. There isn't really much nature nurture debate amongst experts in this area. They say it's something we learn. I think we've got like 33,000 learning opportunities by the time we're 18 to eat, to learn how to eat. And so that's really ingrained by the time we're up and we've left home. So yeah, of course we can change at any age, but we'll make it easier for ourselves if it's something we tackle when we're younger.
I hadn't even thought of that, because of course when we're newborn, we're drinking milk, whichever way we're drinking it.
Yeah.
We have to be taught, we have to be weaned.
Yeah.
And then also there's the notion in the first year of, do you do on demand or do you have set times? Wow. So yes, it can go right back to there. So obviously it's easier to unravel something and learn something new in that really sort of flexible stage when they're younger.
Yeah. But it's I think those learning opportunities carry on right through childhood as well.
Yeah.
And it can be so easy as a parent. I completely get this too. I think be a little bit too quick to give up, maybe, if our child seems to be showing resistance or challenges around certain foods, perhaps healthier foods that we'd like them to eat, and then we might think, okay, well, I just want them to eat something, I know they'll have this, and then you can start getting into that route where you're sort of feeding on demand in terms of giving your children what they know they'll eat, rather than the things you prefer them to be trying.
Absolutely.
And that's it's a perfectly natural thing to get into. But I think if people can realize just how long it can take, it can help that knowledge that, okay, we just have a bit more patience here, just keep trying, keep putting those things on the table, keep offering them, keep role modeling us eating those things. And we don't have to make separate foods. We can just keep going, and actually we can get there in the end. And there are a lot of other strategies to support that if your child's struggling, but that as a basic principle, having that mindset that is this thing we have to learn and that it does take a while, is really helpful. And it's often something I think we can overlook just in that desperation to get that one meal, to have the child eat something in that one meal, in that one moment. But yeah, there's a bigger picture. You're right, this lifelong sort of thing. Yeah.
So I think what you do firstly avoids a lot of conflict and sort of tension between the child and their parents. But at the same time, what I love from what I'm hearing is you empower the parent and you maintain that relationship between the parent and the child. You're not swooping in to be superwoman coach with the child, which would leave the parent kind of powerless. And well, we're all human, right? We all have limiting beliefs. We're not, Captain America to deflect stuff that happens and not take it on as a lack on our behalf. So I can imagine that if you're training the parent, they're going to feel more empowered, and the child doesn't need to know that mummy and daddy were just coached by a professional. They just get the benefits of it, right? So I love that. And we were talking about then processed foods. You were recommending a program to me, because that's one of the things we sort of steer clear of when you look at where your toxins are and where your negative ingredients are. Very often anything that's been it's been taken from its natural form. So we recommend that you take things from their natural form and cook them yourselves, as opposed to picking something off the shelf. And there's actually quite a plethora of things that are processed that people don't think are processed,
Yeah,
like fruit-based
absolutely.
children's snacks, for example. So tell us more about that program and why that was important to you.
Okay, yeah, of course. So it was called What Are We Feeding Our Kids? And it was on BBC One a couple of weeks ago. And Dr. Chris Van Tulleken did an experiment on himself where he changed his diet to eating 80% ultra processed food. Um, and ultra processed food has got specific definition. It's basically food that's been really mucked around with, so it's got lots of ingredients that you wouldn't recognize ever in your own cupboards or fridge. They're, created especially to make a food taste good or more palatable, or to make it last longer, all those strange things that you've never seen in the flesh, only seen as strange ingredients. And then at the end of his experiment, he had brain scans done, and he obviously had tests on his physical health as well. I think, as you might expect, he'd put on a lot of weight, and he felt terrible. He was getting headaches and constipation and all piles, I think he had at one point. He was not in good shape compared to how he started. But I think the thing that was most shocking was that it actually created new neural pathways in his brain, similar to those seen in the brains of addicts. So that the food is, basically has addictive qualities. And the research, even though it was just on one man, it has, I think, been used as a springboard to apply for more funding for further research, because the results were deemed significant enough to do that. So yeah, watch that space. Really, it's pretty shocking actually what's going on. The food is being tweaked especially to make it hard for us to not eat.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
someone once said to me, I've been doing a course on nutrition, and it was, if you don't recognize the natural form of the food, then you might not want to eat it. So much
No.
has been done to it. But that reminds me of the Super Size Me program we had back in the
Oh,
noughties, where the guy ate burgers every day for a
yeah.
month, I think it might have been. And it's an analogy we use, which is what you put onto and into your body, whether it's your products or your food you eat. Having a burger one day isn't going to harm you necessarily, but having a burger every day, so it's the same with the build-up of anything else that's going into your body, you're going to have so many impacts in time. And what it's such a shame that people don't realize very often is all the little things that they have going wrong that they think are not linked, like I'm tired, I can't sleep, I've got bad skin, I've got a dodgy gut. All of those things, they can be linked. And you're absolutely right when that's so interesting to see the neural pathway stuff, because you do need to retrain your habits in your brain, and that's the whole essence of what you do with children, isn't it? So
Yeah.
it just proves that you can learn bad habits, but then hopefully you can unlearn them as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I firmly believe you can. Yeah, absolutely. And I
Um,
hope Dr. Chris Van Tulleken can get
yeah,
back to his
yeah,
previous
I don't know
health
what
as
happened
well.
to the Super Size Me guy, but yeah, that
Yeah.
was, it's not great. I mean, I know that when I had my 40 plus check a few years back, it happened to be booked just after I'd done one of my 30 days, and the results came back amazing. She said, "This is incredible." And I said, "Well, I did just do like 30 days, blah, blah, blah." And so she was like, "Tell me more about that, because, you have a 0.01% chance of heart disease or something like that." And that, I mean, obviously it's the first time I'd done that, so I had no idea what my levels would have been before
Yeah.
that. Um, However, I did get sent, here's another habit one. I did get sent away with a leaflet on alcohol, because she had to put me in the system as a binge drinker, because all my alcohol units were in 1 or 2 days, so Friday and Saturday. So when I said how much I drank, I don't drink in the week generally, but I'll have a few, 2 or 3, and that's deemed, from an NHS perspective, that's deemed binge drinking. So she did say, "I know you're healthy, but I have to send you away with this." But it's a slippery slope, isn't it? That is, I mean, look at lockdown. We were all eating far too much chocolate, yellow food, and alcohol, and that's, and not enough exercise. So,
Yeah.
but Sarah, it's been a pleasure to interview you. I know, in terms of, I always ask people, what do you want people to interact with, or get on board with, or get involved with? So what have you got going on at the moment, or where can people find out more about you?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yes. So I have a new quiz on my website, actually, which is feelbetterfamilies.co.uk. And it's a quiz for parents who are interested to find out a bit more about their child's fussy eating. And it lets them look at something called the fussy eating spectrum. So it helps you place your child where they might be and what kind of interventions you might think you'd like to try next to help them. So it's really a kind of starting point, signposting type quiz. So yeah, if that's something that interests you, go take a look, try the quiz. Any questions, just get in touch.
Fabulous. And you work, do you work, I mean, you've had to at the moment, you work virtually with parents as well as
Virtually, yes. Yeah. I haven't switched to face yet. It's working well for now. Wherever people are, they can see me, and it's very easy for parents too, because they don't have to travel anywhere, they don't have to think about childcare necessarily. So yeah, it seems to be working well.
I hear you, definitely. I mean, the majority of both my businesses is complete. In fact, I'd nearly say it's completely online now, and I'm not entirely sure how much will go back in person. So
Right.
perfect. Thank you so much, Sarah, and thank you everyone
Thank
for
you.
watching. If you'd like any more information about anything we've talked about, then, or you have any other resources you'd like to share with us, then let us know. But over and out. I'll speak to you soon. Bye, Sarah.
Bye, Kate.